My fellow Houstonians, welcome to this Houston Sports State of the Union press briefing. We are going to do a recap of this week for the Texans and the Rockets. It was going to be a beautiful weekend, so we thought, when on Thursday Night Football, your Houston Texans defeated the Buffalo Bills 23-19. Davis Mills Mafia, still swarming after an electrifying win that brought the Houston Texans back to being over 500 at 6-5 and just possibly salvaging their season. Then on Friday, it was NBA Cup action, and your Houston Rockets were taking on the Denver Nuggets. It was billed as Nikola Jokic versus Baby Jokic, aka Alperen Şengün, and it was a really good game, I will say, but unfortunately, your Houston Rockets were defeated 112-109 in that game. Fortunately, they bounced back last night versus the Phoenix Suns and get a pretty convincing win there. We will talk about all of this and more. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and talk about your Houston Rockets and the week they've just had. All right, once again, your Houston Rockets did win last night versus the Phoenix Suns. It was 114-92. Dominant performance without Kevin Durant, who was unable to make his debut as a Rocket in Phoenix due to some personal issues. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit worried about how it was going to look going into this game without Kevin Durant, because we all know how good of a defender Dillon Brooks is. And I thought perhaps they'll be putting Dillon Brooks on Alperen Şengün, which he was at times. But the question was, who offensively is going to step up for this team when Kevin Durant is not available? It's a question we've been asking since the Rockets signed Kevin Durant. Well, that answer was given last night, and it was a multitude of people. Jabari Smith Jr., Amen Thompson, even Alperen Şengün had himself a game. Shout out to Aaron Holiday, who hit 5 3-pointers in this game, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to double check that because he might have actually hit more. But let me tell you, the entire team just really impressed me offensively, defensively. Shout out to Reed Shepherd also, who didn't score a ton of points in this game. I think he finished with 7 points, but the way that he was able to get the Rockets in and out of their offense, he got 5 assists, and they were all very impressive assists. And he's had a really good stretch. You know, once again, scoring wise, it wasn't his best game, but overall, I was just impressed with the entire team and how well they played, how they defensively locked up Devin Booker. Dillon Brooks, you know, he got in there and he got his. And Dillon Brooks, you know, I noticed the commentary was really fascinated with how good of an offensive player that he has become. If you watch the Houston Rockets, especially last season, you already knew that about Dillon Brooks. And you knew he was going to come into this game with a chip on his shoulder, wanting to show up and show out. I'm pretty sure he wished Kevin Durant was going to be there because he would have loved to try to lock Kevin Durant up. But all in all, it was a good week, and it was a really good bounce back from that loss in the NBA Cup, which more than likely the Houston Rockets are not going to Vegas. It's going to take them beating Golden State Warriors, who they play this Wednesday in Golden State. It's going to take beating them and probably beating them very convincingly because we all know that the point spread in these games matters. But I have a feeling right now they're 1-2 in the Cup. At this point, there are 2 teams ahead of them. It's a good chance that they're probably not going to go to Vegas and compete for the NBA Cup again, which would have been really cool to see this Rockets team be tested once again in that setting. But all in all, the Houston Rockets, once again, you have a disappointing loss. It was a tough game. Kevin Durant and Alperen Şengün did not play very well against Denver. However, shout out to Alp for bouncing back in this game against Phoenix. You're going to have bad games every now and again. And obviously, Alperen Şengün looks up to Nikola Jokic. And Nikola Jokic honestly looked like the elder statesman in that game. Sometimes Alp looked like he was kind of deer in the headlights type of thing going on. I know he wanted to play well, and he has played well against Jokic in the past, but it just wasn't in the cards. It was still a really close game. I enjoyed watching it. Shout out to Jabari Smith Jr., who was just clutch in that game, made big shot after big shot. So, you know, the Houston Rockets are in good shape. They're 11-4. So the Rockets are still 4th place in the West behind the Lakers, Nuggets, and Thunder. However, it's a really good team. I think we've established this. If they can figure out who's going to score the basketball when Kevin Durant is unavailable, which, you know, listen, the Suns are a decent team. They're number 6 in the West. They were actually on the same, I think they had won like 9 of their last 10 or something like that. So they'd been on a really good winning streak as well. So that's a quality basketball team. No, they didn't have Jalen Green, but you didn't have Kevin Durant. You didn't have Tari Eason either. The Rockets are in a good space right now, and I'm really, really excited to see what they're going to do against Golden State because they've proven they're a quality team. The question is, are they in the upper echelon of the West? We're going to find that out as this season continues. All right, let's talk about your Houston Texans, please, can we? I'm leaving the Tank Dell and CJ Stroud graphic up until Tank Dell comes back. I know it's the old Texans jerseys, but I'm really missing Tank Dell, and we could use him on this team offensively, even though your Houston Texans have won 3 games in a row. Davis Mills has not played great for the entirety of these games, but he has had moments of brilliance, excellent throws that you only see the upper echelon of quarterbacks make. And quietly, at least in the social media spaces, there's a little bit of a quarterback controversy brewing. Right now, we don't know what CJ Stroud's status is. Everyone's assuming that he's going to be back for this game against the first place Colts, but it's not a guarantee. He could still be in the protocol. We may see Davis Mills again. I think we'd all like to see CJ Stroud, obviously, because CJ Stroud has shown us what he is capable of, things that Davis Mills is not capable of. But Davis Mills, he's shown up in clutch time. That's why they call him Money Mills. And so I'm curious from Texans fans, who would you rather see go up against the Indianapolis Colts? Do you want to see Money Mills go at Daniel Jones, or are you ready for CJ Stroud to come back and make this final run towards what hopefully is a playoff season? The AFC South is about to get crazy. The Texans have to play Indianapolis twice, which means Indianapolis has to play the Texans twice. Indianapolis also has to play the Jaguars twice. Their schedule is actually pretty brutal. They have the Texans twice, the Jags twice. They have the 49ers and the Seahawks in their remaining games. Good luck to the Colts. If they come out through that stretch of games, still on top of the AFC South, then you know what? I will salute you. You deserve it. You're the best team in the division, but it's going to be interesting. I'm expecting the Texans to at least be in the mix well into the back end of their schedule. They're going to be taking on, obviously, Indianapolis twice. They have the Chiefs. They have the Cardinals. They have the Raiders. And they have the Chargers. I'm not scared of at least half of those teams. You know, I believe Indianapolis is legit. Their offense is definitely legit. But the Texans' defense is legit. They sacked Josh Allen 8 times. And it could have been 9. The hustle of Will Anderson Jr. will never cease to amaze me because he pretty much had Josh Allen sacked. He escaped away from it. Will Anderson Jr. gets up and still chases him down for the sack. The Texans defense, it's the number 1 defense in the NFL for a reason, and I expect them to continue to be that. And the Indianapolis Colts have not seen a defense like this Houston Texans defense. So, all in all, it was a pretty decent weekend for Houston sports. You know, save that loss in the NBA Cup. And I know we'd love to see the Rockets in the NBA Cup. But all in all, you know, it's still a really good time to be a sports fan in Houston. And that is why I do this podcast. This has been the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast. Press briefing for Texans and Rockets. If you guys have not subscribed to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notifications and support all my other work. Texans Bloodline, Houston Sports State of the Union podcast, Twin Toros. It's H-Town till we drown, baby. I love you guys. I'm going to see you in just a few more days after this Rockets game. In the meantime, please stay 10 toes down for the H. I love you, and good night.